Joining me next is Bellator 183's Adam Piccolotti. Adam, how you doing?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. For you, how does it feel to be getting back to action? Going to be the first fight of 2017. How excited does that have you?
You nailed it. I'm excited, man. I just can't wait to get back in the cage and do my thing and perform to my fullest potential.
What was recovery rehab like? We know there were some injury issues.
Yeah, I had a herniated disc in my back, and I was really blessed to have a good friend, Mateo, my chiropractor. He had a great back rehab machine, actually, it's a decompression machine. And, I hit that 3 times a week for 10 weeks, and it made such a difference. Following that rehab, it still took a little bit while for it to get out of my head and to feel 100%. But, at this point, I don't even think about it. I don't wake up with a sore back or anything. So I couldn't have asked for it to go any better with a relatively serious injury like that.
Okay, so what was this amazing recovery process? Tell us more about that. What were you doing 3 times a week? What was the machine doing?
So basically what it was is, the concept is like an inversion table almost, right? Where you hang upside down and it stretches you out. That's kind of the concept behind it. But what it is it's like a big Frankenstein-looking machine. It holds your upper body still. You get your whole hips into a harness, and then it lays you back, and it lays you at a certain degree specific for where your spine is injured. And then it does a series of pulls, at a certain weight. For example, I started off when I was super injured, like at the very beginning, it was only pulling me with about 11 pounds of pressure, giving me decompression. By the end of rehab, I was getting pulled at 115 or so. So it's like a gradual decompression process, and there's really not too many chiropractors out there. But Family Chiropractic and Health over in Redwood City, they're the guys that really helped take care of me and get me back on track.
Outside the chiropractor, were other doctors amazed at the recovery?
You know what? I did an MRI before, and I did it kind of like through third party instead of seeing a regular practitioner. Because to be honest with you, with the herniated disc, most regular doctor practitioners are going to recommend surgery right away. And herniation surgery is just really ineffective. There's even a medical term for back surgeries that have failed, right? So it's like over 50% are unsuccessful. So I wanted to stay away from that at all costs. I was really amazed by my recovery and as well as my chiropractic doctors. And they're chiropractic, but the dude I was seeing, Mateo, he's actually a herniation specialist. And so it's not like I was going in there and getting cracked. I was just basically going in there and using the machine and doing some stretches and some Aldoa techniques and stuff like that to rehab my back.
As somebody that also I have 2 herniated discs. I'm so happy for you that you feel so great. Were you skeptical of the treatment when you first started? Like, how is this going to help me? Or were you optimistic?
I think I'm pretty optimistic in general, that's just kind of my personality. So, I was super optimistic. I was 28 years old at the time, and I know that I'm in great shape. I know that I eat well. I know that I do everything that I'm supposed to do. So for me, it's like, if I had a herniated disc for years and years and years, I ate like shit, I worked at a desk, maybe I would be a little bit more pessimistic about it, but I knew I was going to recover. I wanted to fight even as soon as July. I'm kind of glad that the scheduling worked out the way it did to our fighting now, but I've always been super optimistic.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that you're glad that you got this extra time? Have you really felt that you were you rushing it?
Yeah, I think if I did fight in July, I would have been rushing it a little bit. And although I was back to training, I was still kind of waking up with a sore back, or if I push it too hard, I would be able to tell. And so just kind of having the freedom to take days off when I reached that point, instead of having to be so concerned with my conditioning and my drilling and my sparring and everything like that. Although I probably could have made it through, it may have created something that would have been lingering even still. So the fact that I got kind of forced to fight this late in the year, like I said, is a little bit of a blessing in disguise.
For Bellator 183, for Gotit Yamauchi, timeline wise, how much of a camp of preparation have you put together just for this fight?
Well, I've known about this fight, and I've known the opponent for a long time, probably longer than I've had any opponent for. So probably about, I'd guess, 14 to 16 weeks I knew about him. At the beginning, it was almost challenging because I had a date now, and I had an opponent, I had a face. Like, I wanted to go, and I had to hold myself back a little bit in the beginning and not overdo it, to prevent any other future injuries or burnouts or anything like that. So I really kind of coasted into those, at those first 16 weeks, and got myself in relatively good shape. Started to kind of bring my weight down a little bit. Just started drilling a bunch and studying. And then about 10 weeks out, we really started to kick it up. Added in the sparring, added in the conditioning, and it's just been a freaking solid camp. I feel amazing.
At this point in your career, has the term kind of training smarter, has that kind of came into the vocabulary a lot?
Yeah, I've always said, like, as a young fighter and stuff like that, everybody has always told me, listen to your body, train smarter, not harder. All these things that, at the time seemed really cliche and like, okay, yeah, I hear you, but I got a fight coming up. I got to do everything that I possibly can at every hour of the day to make sure that I'm fully prepared. And, with this injury and with the rehab and stuff like that, and also with my agent experience, I've started to kind of, not just hear it, but understand and really live that, and really feel that, listening to your body and all those cliche sayings are really something to be valued.
Going into this fight, do you feel you're still in the same position in the division pre-injury?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some good fights. I had a great fight with Brandon Gertz last November, and I don't see anybody above me right now in this division. I see the main event. It's a fun main event. Both of those guys are more well known than I am, but it's only a matter of time before I get my hands on either those guys or the Chandler Primus whenever that happens. Any of these guys. I feel like I'm right there, top 5.
Did it hurt you to have to pull out the fight with Premise because you now see where that took him, the kind of opportunity that the injury kind of took away from you?
I mean, yes and no. It was definitely frustrating, and there's a time when I got super emotional about it, like really kind of not angry, but just like, God, just frustrated. Seeing him get his title shot and stuff like that. That's kind of what I was trying to stay ready for, for somebody to pull out of the title shot, for me to jump in and grab that belt. But, everything happens for a reason, and I just got to stay patient, stay calm, and not worry too much about things I can't control, and just worry about what I can control.
Your last opponent was Brandon Gertz. Did you watch his last fight with Campos?
Yeah, I sure did.
From a professional fighter, but as a fan that night, what did you think?
It was fun to watch. Those guys are crazy, but it gave me more confidence, if anything. The way that Gertz was able to hit Campos compared to the way that he wasn't able to hit me, it put a lot of confidence in my head. Although I feel like I was already above Campos, it was good to see those two go at it again and have a long battle the way it was. I really felt for Gertz for getting that fight stopped. I think he was winning the fight, and it could have helped to get him back on track, but it happened the way it did, and it was a fun fight to watch. Definitely entertaining.
Also talking about watching the division, is your expectation that we'll see Premise Chandler again as the next title fight?
That's what I kind of assumed, with the whole controversy that happened in that title fight the first time. And Chandler's been around for a long time. If anything, he deserves that instant rematch. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. So, that's kind of what I'm expecting to see. And to be honest with you, besides that, like, what other title fight is there? Are they going to wait for this main event to happen, and then for those guys to recover, and then finally fight the title? Like, that's going to be holding that title up for probably about a year, So I think that's the fight that makes the most sense at this point. And yeah, I'm not upset with it. I can see that, happening. To be honest, too, I would like to beat Primus for the title, but I would like even more to beat Chandler for the title. So I'm kind of pulling for Chandler.
So you have that little bit of you'd like to have the fight that you didn't get to, but it'd almost be a bigger honor to beat the guy that's really cemented himself in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when people talk about like MMA in general and pound for pound and stuff like that, you know, there's one guy that really gets mentioned a lot from Bellator, and that's Michael Chandler. You know, that's one guy that everybody kind of respects as, you know, he's not just good for Bellator, he's good in MMA all around, you know. So I want to beat that guy, you know. I always want to beat the best guy that I can. And he's also a bigger name, you know. I want to make sure that people know who I am and people know how I fight.
Talking about you felt you're above Campos, above Gertz. Where does Goiti? Is this a step up in competition for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that Goiti possesses that Gertz didn't, and also vice versa, you know. Gertz was that huge knockout type of dude. I don't think Goiti is that way too much, although I do respect his stand-up. He's right there, you know. It's very similar in my eyes in terms of level of competition. You know, I respect the guy for what he's done, for his record. You know, he's been in the game for a long time. But I think both of them are a step below where I'm at right now.
Early on, a lot of people just looked right to your wrestling, your grappling, your roots, and your foundation. How much do you feel that you've evolved into a full threat? We got to see really the striking on display against Gertz, but where do you feel you are in that becoming a well-rounded fighter?
Yeah, I think especially like the past 2 years, I've felt the most noticeable difference in my striking and transition and everything together. But, you know, I honestly feel like I could handle myself with anybody in this division that would stand up. And, man, I would even love to jump into kickboxing, Bellator kickboxing fight one day as well. I'm ready to rock, you know, wherever the fight goes, I'm gonna bring it to him.
Every fight starts off standing, but really in the case of you versus Goiti, a lot of us would love to see this fight hit the ground. He has what some have described as a more slicker technique, while yours is a little more beat guys up until they give you the submission, a little grittier of a game. What would you think about hitting the ground and having that matchup if it goes there?
Oh, I love it. You know, I love that matchup. You know, people have been saying that. I kind of what got broken down on by Jimmy Smith, you know, and it's cool. I understand why they say that because that's what they've seen, but people don't realize how slick my ground game is, and I just don't like to be on the bottom. I don't want to get punished in the face. You know what I mean? I like dealing damage. I like being violent, and I think that's the best way. I like to put pressure on guys and allow them to choose where I'm going to finish them from, and ground and pound is the best avenue.
Talking about how you've evolved over the last 2 years, do you feel you're in your prime?
I feel that I'm beginning my prime. You know, I feel that I've made some huge leaps and bounds in training. I can see it in the training room. You know, it shows in my fights. So yeah, I think I'm starting to hit my prime right about now. I've always been a late bloomer as it is, and I mean, look, I only have 9 fights professionally. You know, Goichi's had 24 fights professionally. It's like, regardless of how those fights went or who they were against, like that takes its toll on your body and on your head and everything else too. So I got low wear and tear. I spent the first couple fights of my career grappling the heck out of guys, not taking damage, and so I feel like I'm just entering my prime.
Does it feel like a victory, even with the fight on the books, that it's going to be around the corner and that you're back to competition after having suffered the injury?
Yeah, that's the first minor victory, right? Making sure I'm healthy, making sure I made it through training camp, making sure that my weight's on point, everything like that. But the real victory is going to come next Saturday. After
next Saturday, your plans are to get the win over Goiti. What would be next then for you?
After that, it's some pizza, donuts, you know, a little PlayStation.
Some nice R&R.
Yeah, I want to fight anybody in the top 4. After that, I want to fight any of those top 4 guys, that main event or one of those title guys. That's about it. That's all I see left for me in this division.
Okay, you bring it up. What toppings on the pizza?
It depends. It depends where it's from, you know. I got a local spot where you only do cheese. You don't get nothing else on that thing. You just get like the double, triple cheese on there, and there's really no messing with that. But You can also do a big old combo. I'm good at anything really.
And then what game are you sitting down with at the PlayStation to play?
I just literally bought my first PlayStation 4. I was holding off forever for whatever reason, but I just picked up Destiny 2. I played Destiny 1 a little bit, so I'm really stoked to check this one out. It's kind of what I do. I like to do that before a fight, is pick up a new game, whether it's PC or PlayStation, and have something to do in that hotel room during fight week.
Oh, nice. Something to keep your mind off of it while you're doing the whole weight cut.
Yeah, exactly. Weight cut sucks. It's a little better with a good video game.
Nice, nice. It was great getting to talk to you, Adam Piccolotti. Thank you for the time so much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.